welcome back. My name is Leslie. I am a Montessori certified guide and I've been working in the classroom for close to 8 years. But most importantly, I'm also a mom to a 15-month-old, and you can find my family's adventures and Montessori at home journey on my Instagram at latinx.montessori. So a big part of Montessori at home is Practical Life, and today we're going to talk about Practical Life for young toddlers between the ages of 12 and about 15 or 16 months. So before we talk about some things that you can do at home with your young toddler, it's important that we go back and we understand why practical life activities or activities of everyday life are a big part of Montessori at home. Now, Dr. Maria Montessori first opened her school in San Lorenzo, Italy, and there she called her very first school Casa de Bambini, which if we translate that into the English language, that is a children's house or a children's home. And so this is exactly why the Montessori philosophy just fits into what we are doing at home. She took the home environment and she brought that into her very first school or her very first classroom. She understood that through activities of everyday life, lots of learning happens, and children are joyful and content when they are able to participate in such activities. So practical life activities for young toddlers are ideal, having that they are just natural to the rhythm of our everyday life. There's no need for you to have a big setup. There's no need for you to go out and buy materials. Most of the time you can find in your household anything that you need so your child can be involved in practical life activities. So let's take a look at some reasons why practical life activities are ideal for a young toddler. One of the main reasons is because it provides freedom of movement, which is a principle that Dr. Maria Montessori identified as being critical for the development of a child. It could be that your young toddler between the ages of 12 and 15 are now starting to refine the big muscles of their body. It could be that they're taking their very first steps, they're learning how to walk, they're using different body muscles than those that they used when they were crawling. If you have a young toddler who is already walking and is able to maneuver their body in an upright position now with a lot more control, these are also ideal because they provide that movement to move their legs, to move their body in a big way so that they can really practice how to have more body control and how to just strengthen those big muscles. At this age, young toddlers are not only learning how to refine the big muscles of their body, but they are also learning how to use those smaller muscles. And so practical life activities give them the ability to refine those fine motor skills. And so when they take a household item such as a rag or a sponge, they are required to hold that sponge, and their fingers must be strong enough to be able to hold it, right? Or it could be that they just put their hand on top of it so that they can start figuring out how to make these movements. It provides them with the ability to see cause and effect right before their eyes. And so when they are starting to take, in this case, as I've been giving the example, a sponge, they're able to see that if the sponge is wet and it has some soap, they're able to see that when they squeeze the sponge, then bubbles come out or the soap comes out. When they move their hand with that sponge, they can see on the table that, oh, it's wet, right? And so when I press on the sponge or when I move the sponge, then something happens. And so it gives them the ability to start critically thinking. So this is their brain at work, thinking critically on that cause and effect. Oh, if I want to squeeze water out of the sponge, then I have to do this so that the water comes out. So there's all of those brain connections that they're also making all through these very simple Practical Life Activities. Practical Life Activities also provide your young toddler with the ability to be a contributor to your household. Now, if you have a young toddler, you know that they just want to be involved. They want to do everything that you're doing, and that's because they're just absorbing everything, and they're in this absorbent mind where they're taking in information. And so if you're folding laundry, having them there next to you is ideal, so they can also participate in these activities that are part of your home community. It brings joy and fulfillment, and what else do we want but a happy child? I know that in my case here at home with my 15-year-old, or not year old, but 15-month-old daughter, when she's engaged in practical life activities, she is just often laughing and smiling, and that just brings so much joy to my mama heart. So I shared with you some of those benefits of practical life activities. So now the question is, what can we do with our child at home when presenting practical life activities? So the beauty of practical life activities is that you pretty much have everything at your fingertips at home. So if you're doing laundry, involve them with just simply folding the clothes or taking the laundry basket from one room to the other, or taking clothes into the laundry room. Help them or allow them to put some clothes into the dishwasher. Now, it's important to note that at this age, you should not expect perfection. It's not about them folding something nicely. It's not about them taking it properly to the laundry room. Most likely they're gonna shake it all around and throw it all over the place, right? Because this is part of learning. They are learning how to refine those movements so that they can one day properly do it. Remember that it's all about the process, so never expect perfection when involving your children in practical life activities. You can also have them really close to you in the kitchen when you are cooking, you're chopping vegetables, you're washing dishes. Now, if you have a young toddler who maybe isn't walking yet, or you're just not comfortable with having them close to the stove or close to the knives when you're chopping vegetables, you can always just sit them in a high chair and have them really close so that they can see what you're doing. And of course, have them close so that you can see them, because safety first. And by just watching, you're allowing them to absorb how you hold that knife. They're absorbing how you're chopping those vegetables and how you're adding water to that pot that you're going to make beans with. And so just letting them watch is part of practical life activities. Once they're a little older, maybe 14, 15 months, and you're feeling a lot more comfortable, you can have them stand on a step stool so that they can watch how you do it, and maybe provide child-sized utensils so that they can start helping. When setting the table, you can also have them help you with taking the forks, taking the spoons, setting their own plate if they do have enough coordination, or you can do it together, and taking their plate to the table. If you're sweeping, if you're mopping, you can have them hold the dustpan with you while you collect all of the trash, and then you can have them hold that dustpan, and of course you can help out and you can collect the trash and take it to the trash can together. Now, those are just some simple activities that require no setup, require absolutely nothing other than the things that you have at home and that are just normal to the rhythm of your life. And so I will create a video here soon on some activities that you can prepare that are a lot more intentional, such as scooping and pouring and all of that. So stay tuned for one of those videos here soon. Now, I am a full-time out of the home working mama, and so on those days when I'm tired from being in the classroom, from working all day, and I come home and I just simply start cooking with her, it's just so grounding, and it feels so good to my mama heart to know that I can get things done while also building a connection with my daughter, and all of that is also helping her learn. For now, this is what I have here for you. Feel free to follow my family's Montessori at home journey on my Instagram. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you soon. Adios.